on point, nigga. You seeing, nigga, yeah, you unforgiving. Why would I forgive you? Or why would I sit up there and give you grace the next time you do some shit you ain't supposed to be doing?
Hey, look, God in a lot of the books in the Bible, he struck down people for like stuff. Nowadays, people be like, "What? Why would he do that?" Ananias and his wife, they were supposed to donate to the church off their land, everything they had, and they tried to withhold. They tried to withhold stuff, and what happened? Peter was like, "Why does the devil call you to sit up here and lie?" When they tried to withhold just to keep a little bit of the money that they sold their house for instead of giving it all to the church and whatnot. And they doubled down. They like, "What you talking about? This is a man that walked with Christ himself and learned about himself and the problems he had. And they died on spot. God, the Most High God killed them. Like him and his wife, when they both tried to play dumb, just dropped them off. Like, so it's like, bro, when it say the wages of our sin is death, that's literal. Like, God has every right to take our lives anytime we sin. We could just lie. They lied and they died. Bars. But they lied and they died. Like, he has every reason to kill us, but at the end of the day, he be forgiving us for multiple sins. Like, for a lot of people, daily sins. So it's kind of like, to be in a position of where it's people in real life who make mistakes. You know, nobody's perfect. Everybody say, well, I'm not perfect. Well, why can't you have a semblance of that empathy for somebody else and understand just how you know every time you do some bullshit, you like, well, I'm not perfect. Well, the person you're dealing with or having your life, they're not perfect either. So, of course, God is going to hate somebody. He's going to have mad animosity and dislike to somebody who is non-forgiving. And this is why I say it's power in the humility, because God forgive us every single day. That's why the earth is still standing. He could have been sent his son back to wipe us out. But the whole purpose and why God gave time for the flood, why he's giving time for the end of days and his son to come back, is because it shows his patience. He wants as many people to come back to him as possible. So for us to be living in a world like this and we can't share the same type of spirit with other people that's around us, like, dang, I should probably forget this person, or I should probably understand. That don't mean you have to sit up there and accept them into your life and sit up there and have them be a part of what you got going on if you know they're a detriment. But just to forgive. It don't take nothing for you to forgive, nigga. So, of course, God is going to look at it like, nigga, you can't forgive, but I forgive you every single day? You had to really, that is heavy. Like, you had to weigh that. Like, yeah. It's tough. It's tough, bruh. It's tough. And like I said, the hardest part is having the humility and just taking your L on the chin and being like, I'ma still love this person, bro, because that's what Christ was on, bro. Like, for real. Like, just think about it. He going and telling everybody. Christ was probably so enthusiastic to tell people, like, yeah, God is the way. Like, and then he got to he getting looks of hatred, like, what is you talking about? You talking about you the Messiah? You on bullshit. What are you talking about? Like, kill this nigga now. On some LTG shit. Like, real talk. You're a summer ant, Christ. They were saying the same shit to this nigga. Like, real talk. And he probably felt devastated in spirit and everything. Like, bro, I'm just trying to lead y'all to the promised land and what really matter. And then he had to have one of his own disciples who he chose to personally say, I want you to come and see what I do and how God works. And he betrayed him. And the whole time he like, yeah, I'm with you, my Lord, my master. And at the end he like, yeah, you're dropped off. Yeah, I called the Romans on you. And at the end of the day, like that's what I was saying. At the end of the day, Christ knew what was going on. He knew that he would betray him. But he still went with it because he knew that was God's will. And what happened to Judas? Nigga was tormented and killed himself, bro. Like, we don't have to sit up here and be evil and wicked and treat people the same way they treat us, because the fact of the matter is that they continue down that road and they don't repent, you're going to destroy yourself. You're going to be tormented, bro. Meanwhile, the people who have the heart to do the right shit and to have the humility to spread the word of God and to just really want to help people, we're going to be blessed because God knows our hearts, bro. And the hearts of people that's just traitors and to just stay that way, he know. Like reading about King Saul, nigga, King Saul spent the latter half of his life going after David. Like, I know God's going to exalt you to be the next king. I don't want that to happen. But God was protecting King David, and King Saul knew this shit. Like, God, it's God's protection. But you're still trying to kill this nigga. Man, you're going against God. Like, and you really had to think about that shit. Like, nigga, like, but think about how many chances God gave King Saul. Because this wasn't just like, nigga, King Saul doing this, like, of his own accord. Like, nigga, like, nigga, he made a choice to do this stuff because it was on. He had jealousy in his heart, bro. And if he was really of righteous valor, you know, he would have looked at King David and be like, oh, you cut my robe off, you could have killed me. You know, I'm a chill, bro. But it was never, he was so obsessed with the position of king, God had to remove him, bro. And it just goes to show people bring their own calamity, bro. Like, it's never God, bro. God just wants us to follow him. But when we do different things, like, it's like, that's why the humility is so important, because, nigga, it goes to show our hearts. Like, nigga, King David cut that nigga robe off, and he was like, he felt bad for cutting he knew that Saul was anointed at one point by God. He like, nigga, I feel bad for even cutting this nigga robe. He's the king, and God has exalted him to this point. He didn't even want to do that. But what do that show to God? That show his heart. Like, nigga, I'm not gonna, even though you came into the same cave, I could have dropped you off because you've been persecuting me with your army this whole time. I'm going to spare you because I know you're one of God's anointed. He anointed you at one point. Come back to him. That's massive humility. You know how easy it would have been to be like, yeah, Saul, you just straight. You've been chasing me in the caves and all my people and all this shit. I'm going to kill you. It would have been easy.
Right.
It would have been as easy as swinging your arm, nigga, just to cut that nigga in half. But he was like, he felt bad. He was like, no, I don't. He was like, I don't want to do that. And that's the hardest part of life, is having that humility, bro. And that's what I've been learning to do, is just to have that humility and just be like, bro. And that's why I'm telling y'all, and it's something that I'm preaching, because it's like, bro, it's so important, bro. When I'm strong, I'm strong. When I'm weak, I'm strong. Like, bro, all that shit the world consider weak, all that shit we consider weak, that shit is strength. It's strength in that shit, nigga. It's strength in being vulnerable. It's strength in sitting up here forgiving people. It's strength in being a bigger man. It's strength in all of that. That shit is not light, bro. Like, but we be making it look like that's weakness. It's pride, bro. Pride is the devil. And sometimes pride can be our biggest weapon in moments where it needs to be had. But bro, it's a double-edged sword. And you know, that's where I'm gonna leave it at, bro. Cause nigga, I can't express that enough. That shit been on my heart so bad. Cause I've been over here battling like with a bunch of stuff with like my mom's, with Joey, all of them. Like nigga, like I don't want to have hatred for nobody, bro. Like I really don't. Like I really want to love everybody, even despite the things I feel like personally they don't, to where they don't appreciate what I do for them in the place that God put me in their lives, and you know, the place He pedestalized me to help people. When people don't appreciate it, I don't want to hate you, bro, because at the end of the day, bro, it's easy to resent you, bro. But God put me in a position to be there for a reason, whether you get it or you don't. Whether you get it or you don't. Because at the end of the day, we have free will. It's your choice, bro. And we done all did our dirt. I done did horrible things. Horrible things. I'm not proud of, nigga. But at the end of the day, you gotta carry your cross and just keep getting up day after day for the Lord, bro. It's day by day. We be wanting to think, nigga, like we can just sit up here and be like, well, it's a time frame. Bro, it's day by day. That's how the prophets did it. They was getting up day by day praying, because nothing is guaranteed, bro.
Facts.
And all of that stuff is important, bro.
Yeah, no, I definitely needed that shit, because I was borderline, and you know what? I was borderline finna get resentful. I was borderline
USBC.
Get resentful. I told you about the shit with Pops. I ain't told you this shit. My dad recently got a damn surgery on his knee. So he been kind of like out of commission, like needing help with a bunch of shit. Like he can't really move like that. So he been having me going up and down the steps, doing just a bunch of mundane shit, like just random shit. 12 in the morning, come downstairs, calling me, come downstairs. Can you heat up a bowl of cabbage for me? And I'm just like, what you want a bowl of cabbage for at 12 in the morning?
That's actually crazy.
And then get down there, the cabbage is not even no good. And it's just like, just little slow shit. But then, he been sitting up there, using it in bottles and shit, because he can't make it to the bathroom. So niggas sitting up there dumping out these bottles of fucking Simply Lemonade, bottles of piss, all sorts of shit. And all of this shit that I'm just mad uncomfortable with. Like, I just don't fuck with that shit, but I'm just like, just doing it on some, this Pops type shit. And then, today, I wake up, my mom texting me. My mom texting me talking about, what is he talking about? Woo, 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 woo. I'm like, what is you talking about? She like, yo, dad texting me talking about you not having a job and this and that. And I done just dumped this nigga piss bottle out. I'm sitting up there taking this nigga pants on and off and shit. Like putting socks on this nigga fucked up ass feet, like on some shit. And it's like, it was one of them moments. It's like, nigga, it's taking a lot for me to not sit up there and be like, nigga, fuck you. I'm about to get the fuck on, nigga. I fuck a job, fuck all that shit. I just take some shit and dip, and nigga, that'd be that. But I still sat up there, cooked this nigga some food early this like a few hours ago. Nigga still made some salmon, asparagus, Texas toast, still cooking for niggas, all sorts of shit. And it's just like, and I felt like he knows that I know, because we ain't even really talked today for real, outside of that one interaction of me giving him the food. And I was like, I feel like he knows that I know that this nigga, that he didn't sit up there and sneak dissed me on some shit. But it's just like, it's crazy. It's crazy. But then, like you were saying, as far as like humility, the nigga grew up. He grew up. His was really just my grandma. He tell me stories how my grandma used to sit up there, beat him and his brother, my uncle and shit, with metal rods, all sorts of crazy shit. And this is some crazy shit, to say off the record. But like, I remember one day I was doing homework. I remember one night I was doing homework, nigga. I'm in like 5th, 6th grade. I got in trouble at school that day. I remember this nigga sat up there. I couldn't do the homework though, cause you know I wasn't paying attention in class, so I really didn't know how to do the shit. So he whooped my ass. I'm sitting at the table. He went and got in the shower. He came out. All my paper was still blank. I'm just at the table crying. I know how to do this shit. This nigga took his belt off. He went to the door. He opened the door. He looked left and right, closed the door. He went to the window. I'm like, fuck going on? He took the belt. He wrapped that bitch around my neck. He like, you don't do this shit, you gonna die tonight. And I'm just at the table, just whimpering like, this nigga is tweaking, like. And the shit was so crazy, but like, the next day, you know, he apologized and we hugged and shit like that. But it was just like, I never held that shit against him. And, you know, fast forward, he ended up telling me like some of my grandma torture methods on him. And, you know, it just made sense. So it's like everybody got a motherfucking story. Everybody it's a reason they the way they are. And some people you still gotta love from a distance. Cause even after today, it's like in my head when that shit happened, I'm like, okay, I just gotta get the fuck on. Like, cause when people get to a certain point, it's like you ain't gonna sit up there and, you know, it's not meant for me to just be around you. This is a season thing. Like, I'm gonna have to eventually get the fuck on and, you know, woo whoop, and it's just gonna have to play out how it play out, just for my own peace of mind. But at the same time, it's like it's not no hatred there,
bro. As children, we don't. It's certain stuff we don't forget, especially from our parents. I done told this story to a couple of people in my life. I remember I was 4 years old. My mom, she used to stay on the east side. We used to stay on the east side. And I will never forget this to this day. And it's funny you said this, because I feel the same way about my mom with this story. But I was 4 years old. You know, you 4 years old, you growing. I outgrew my shoes. So I couldn't fit my shoes no more because I was getting bigger, right? And my mom, she was so filled with rage at the time, she whooped me because I literally couldn't feel my shoes. I couldn't fit my shoes and we were supposed to go somewhere. I literally outgrew them. So I always remembered this. And I was like, my mom literally gave me a whooping and chastised me because of something out of my control. I couldn't fit my shoes. I don't even know if she remembered that she did that shit.
right?
But I never forgot that moment. But I think about that to this day. And I never held that against my mom to this day, even though I tell the story. Because it's like, I'd be like, man, my mom was probably going through so much and probably went through so much growing up to where just the stuff I don't understand that shaped her to be the person she was in that moment to lead her to that stuff. I don't resent her for that. It's just a situation where it's like, I'm like, damn, like this was bad, like for your kid that to go through. And I think of that myself. I'd be like, I never want my kids to have a memory like that of me. I never want to be in a position to where I'm so in error to where they can be like, dang, my dad, he's fucked up. He was fucked up when he was raising us. And I don't hold it against him, scrutiny to him, but it was bad for him. Like, he was going through stuff. And that's and a part of it is just understanding what's going on, even as a kid, and empathy, because it's like, man, like, moms had to be going through it at that time to the point where even a memory like that now was probably just buried. Like, she probably wouldn't even be able to, if I told her that, she'd probably be like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Like real talk, like, But bro, you don't forget stuff like that, bro. And like I said,
And one
that
thing I'd say as well, it and what'll go a long way though is I'm gonna just say, okay, I'll tell this real quick. I remember I told my dad, this was some like a year or two ago, I told him, about the porn shit. Like I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I ain't gonna say it. I told him the way I told him, I was like, yeah, you kind of fucked me up with the porn shit. Like
I remember you telling me that.
like I sat up there, found your stash, nigga, got in your shit, nigga. I'm 5, 6 years old, nigga. I had a field day. I'm all in your shit, and I'm like, that shit did a number on me as far as like how my life panned out after that. And his response was, yeah, I know, I figured, and that just was it. And I was like, okay, like yeah, like I felt good for getting it off my chest, but it's like.
Hey, look, I figured is crazy, bro. I don't think I ever had that conversation with my dad and told him like, yeah, I got into that at the same age, 4 years old, found your VCRs, and it affected me to this day.
Right.
Like it's deep. Like that stuff is like generational curse levels, but. It go back to the having humility and understanding, empatheticness, and all of this type of stuff. Where it's power in that. Like it's like at the end of the day, I'm my own man, right? So at a point, we had to take accountability for our own actions. Like obviously, when we children, we gonna do sinful stuff. We gonna do dumb shit and be foolish. But it gets to a point where we become sentient and cognitive of of the things we went through. And my dad, he taught me a lot of stuff. My mom inadvertently taught me a lot of stuff on how to move. And that's why I became the man I am today. They wasn't perfect. But, and we can name a billion things about our parents where if you was doing this, the life would have turned out better. That's why I'm like, I have to do better for my kids. My kids gonna be learning the Bible at instantly, like out of the womb. Like we gonna be talking, I'm gonna be playing scriptures while they going to sleep, or like, you're gonna remember this word that God gave our people. Like, but it wouldn't that we just gotta think that wouldn't even came to fruition through us if we didn't go through what we went through.
Right.
We special. Like it's a special. Most people don't look at life like this. Like. And that's why the whole point of what I'm saying is like it's power in the humility, because I can name a billion things everybody done did bad to me, bro. But the one thing I can only remember very few isolated events of things people did bad to me and my whole family. But I always remember the things and how people helped me, how people steered me towards the right direction, because that's what really mattered. When we focus on the negative, we worked in marketing, so people be focusing on them negatives all day, and we got to destroy them. When we focus on the negative is not what really matter, bro. Everybody's sinful. It's a he who was without a sin cast the first stone. So everybody is with sin. So that's your parents, all of that. So if I were to focus on all the wrongs my people did, I'm missing out on all the good shit that they did for me, or all of the things, all of the ways God looked out for me and showing me, okay, this was wrong. And I understand that this is wrong, bro. That's the humbleness in it. Like, you got to be able to be like, thank you, God, for showing me through these people this is what I'm not supposed to do. That's a different type of humbleness. That's a different type of humility, bro. Because it's hard to look at them people and be like, dang, you did me dirty. Like going back, we going in circles, but to be like, dang, you did me dirty. Dang, I learned some bullshit from you. Dang. But it's a lesson. It's like you said, we don't take L's, we take lessons. It's a lesson in all that stuff, the good and the bad, bro. So just all of that stuff, bro. Like, even with your pops, even with my moms, even with my pops, like, I always hated when people talked crazy about my parents, like in the fam, because it's like, I'm like, bro, they did for me, bro, in the ways that they should and in the ways that they shouldn't have. But at the end of the day, it was God's will. They did for me. I'm like, bro, like, I'm not gonna it say respect your parents. I'm not gonna disrespect my parents, bro, because whatever my mom did to me, my pops did to me, that I can complain about and be like, dang, you was bold. You was bold for punning my games, pops. You was bold, moms, for not giving me the attention and nurturing that I need, mom, growing up. You whooped me at 4 years old. I can easily harp on that stuff, but at the end of the day, bro, it was God's will to show me different lessons. Okay, cool. You pawn my games when my other side of the family paid the money to buy that. You didn't even have a jurisdiction to do that. But now what do I know? I'm never going to be a man that doesn't keep my word as far as debt goes and all of that. I'm not pawning my kids shit. Like, that's not an option, bro. Like I'm gonna figure the shit out, because that would be a failure on my part if I'm like, yeah, well, I got to take from my kids in order to fix my debts and burdens and all of it. I'm never going to do that, bro. Like real talk. Like, I'm never going to do that to but that's the beauty. It showed me what not to do. And that's why when people be critiquing my mom or my dad, I be getting kind of hot, because it's like, yeah, I got my qualms with them. But at the end of the day, like, God is good, so he gonna show you, like, through your parents, what to do, what not to do. I know I'm gonna have mistakes with my kids, and they gonna see, like, yeah, I probably shouldn't do this. I probably should do this. But the goal in each generation should be to have littler and littler mistakes, to where your kids take that shit and they like, yeah, all right, my pops fucked up here, but I'm going to sit up here and I'm going to rectify that. And I'm going to make my mistakes. And then my kid's going to rectify those mistakes. And it just gets to a point where it's just straight righteousness, like, because the whole family lineage just understands, and that's what's built into the bloodline. Like, people don't understand how deep the bloodline is, bro. Like, it's bigger than just us, bro. Our kids is gonna be a reflection of us. They're gonna be literal little us's. Not meaning they're not gonna be their own people, but they're gonna be little us's, and it's going to be deep, like, because they're gonna carry that legacy. I can't wait to get into the Bible study this week, because at the end of the day, it's all vanity, bro. It's nothing new under the sun. We're all going to die. We have to leave everything on this earth, we have to leave to the next man in our lineage, and hope that they aren't they aren't fools, and that they're wise. But you can't. It's not going to be up to you. It's up to God, bro. He chooses who's going to be fools and who's going to be wise, who's going to listen and who's just going to be rebellious. Why? Because he's going to let people access their free will, and some people by free will are just going to be fools, bro. And at the end of the day, that's all it is. That's what you have to realize. It's the foolish and it's the wise. And that's it. Like, it's all it is to it. It's just that when it comes to that, it's a black and white, and it's things you can learn. The craziest part is it's things you can learn from the foolish. You learn what not to do.
Okay.